Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Helloween month, where every week for the month of October, we'll be reviewing one of 4 classic albums from the legendary band that invented the power metal genre, Germany's very own Helloween. Now, last week we reviewed their debut effort, 1985's Walls of Jericho, and this week we'll be jumping forward 2 years to the group's next full-length LP, 1987's Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. And with this time jump, also comes a slight change in personnel. Co-founder and co-guitarist Kai Hansen had handled vocal duties on the band's debut, but, beginning with this album, he decided to step back from vocal duties and focus solely on guitar, handing the vocal duties over to newly minted singer, 17-year-old Michael Kiske, who very quickly proved to be Germany's answer to Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson. So, without further ado, join me as we take a look at Helloween's classic masterpiece, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. Number 1, Initiation. This is just a short minute and a half instrumental meant to start things off or set the ambiance and tone for the album. There's not too much to say about this track. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Number 2, I'm Alive. What a way to start the album. Right off the bat, these guys come in kicking down the door, making it abundantly clear to the listener what style their music is all about. Wyckoff and Hansen really step up their game here with powerful, blistering, fast, heavily melodic dual guitars. And what an introduction to new vocalist Michael Kiske. This song is the perfect appetizer to what this album has to offer. I give this one a 9 out of 10. Number 3, A Little Time. A nice mid-tempo track here. Not as fast as the previous song, but there's still plenty of weight behind it. The guitar work is pretty good on this one too. However, it's nothing too fantastic per se, though I believe that was by design. It's really Kiske that shines here out of everyone, taking an otherwise decent track to another level. The man could sing the goddamn Yellow Pages and it would sound good. I give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Number 4, Twilight of the Gods. Right from the get, we have soaring anthemic guitar that quickly slides into an Iron Maiden style gallop that builds into a fast melodic section, and the song cycles through those sonic changes throughout, making for one hell of a listening experience. Everyone really puts their skills on display here. Ingo Schwichenberg kills it on the drums. Marcus Grasskopf kills it on the bass, giving a heavy foundational low end for everyone else to build upon. Kai Hansen and Michael Wyckoff are amazing on guitars. It really is like a faster, more melodically powerful version of Iron Maiden. It truly is. It's fucking amazing. The furiosity of the instrumental melody melding with the vocal melodies, it's just so aesthetically pleasing to the ear, especially the chorus. Now, it's common knowledge that this album is considered by the music world at large, well, this and Keeper's Part 2, to be the albums that single-handedly created the European power metal genre. Well, I'll go one step further and say that this particular song serves as the moment of conception and birth for the entire genre all at once. I can't put into words a way to describe how many hundreds, and I'm probably understating that number, but the plethora of bands that came into existence, modeling their entire careers, album after album, song after song, on the style of this one. It's fucking crazy. Like, when you think of power metal, like European power metal as a genre, this is the godfather of it all. It has all the hallmarks of what several veteran bands of today would end up utilizing in forming their sonic style back in the late 80s through the 90s and up to the mid 2000s. And of course, I don't have to mention that Kiske elevates everything with his vocal lines once again. I give this one a 10 out of 10. Number 5, A Tale That Wasn't Right. Have my heart. So this one isn't bad, by any means, but it's kind of like your typical average 80s metal ballad. Now, especially if you grew up with metal music back then, you know that most people know there were so many of these metal ballads from metal bands back in the day. A lot of them were really, really bad, and a good amount of them were just fine, but nothing particularly special. And I'd say this song falls into the latter category. It's not bad. I don't mind listening to it here and there, but there's nothing that really makes it stand out to me, and that's something that I think is very, very important for when heavy bands want to dabble in ballad territory. If you're going to do it, then fine, but you have to get creative to justify doing it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But this just feels like you could remove it from the album altogether with no consequence, and that's not what you want for a song like this to feel like. So I give this one a 3.5 out of 10. Number 6, Future World. Another song that perfectly encapsulates what these guys are about. This track is a perfect piece of classic power metal from start to finish. Great instrumental and vocal melodies with a really, really catchy chorus. Excellent work from everyone involved. I give this one a 10 out of 10. Number 7, Helloween. The quintessential Helloween song. This song, along with I Want Out from the next album, are two of the most well-known songs of the band, and the ones that brought international recognition to the band by the rock and metal and the music community at large, not just the metal community. Like several other folks, this song was my introduction to the band as well. Back in 2010, when I first started listening to heavy rock and metal music, I used to set my DirecTV DVR to record the Metal Madness video block on VH1 Classic that would play classic metal videos every morning for 2 to 3, sometimes 4 hours. One day I saw the music video for this particular song and remembered thinking to myself, who are these guys? They sound like Iron Maiden, but faster, with more power and more melody. Who the hell is this band? I had never seen a video of theirs or ever heard their name or any of their music up to that point. But I loved the song and I was completely intrigued. Then 2 years would pass until I saw the video on that video block again, and I hadn't remembered the band's name, so I couldn't look them up in the interim between that time. But the second time I saw the video, I definitely took note, and that's pretty much the exact moment that started getting into power metal. Then, to my surprise, I heard the album version of the song, which clocks in at a whopping runtime of 13 minutes, and I realized two things. Not only was this the very first song of this length that I had ever heard in my life in any genre, but the music video version was so bastardized that calling the album version an extended edition would be an extreme understatement. So much material was cut out of the single version for the video that the runtime decreased from 13 minutes to just 5 minutes. They fucking took out more than they left in. It's outrageous. Now I get it. When you have an album single that's seeking radio play, it can't be fucking 13 minutes long. But when a track is as good as this, as dynamic as this, you say fuck it and release it as is, because it's truly a work of art and it's meant to be heard in its untouched form. Anything else is just a sin. And I know I've said it before in some of my other videos, it's hardly ever necessary for a song to have a runtime longer than 5 minutes 95% of the time. So if you're going to go beyond that, you better make damn sure that you really get creative and are able to justify the song's length and keep the listener's attention during that runtime. And I really feel that the band pulled that off here with this song. At no time did I feel like it was dragging on. There was so much going on at any given time that it felt like a regular song's runtime of maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes. Certainly not the 13 minutes it actually is. But yeah, one of the best songs of this lineup of Helloween, and one of the best in the band's entire catalog. I give this one a 10 out of 10. And the final song is just the instrumental outro that leads into the intro of part 2, called Follow the Sign. Not too much to say here. It's a good way to end the album. It matches the tone of the intro and the tone of the intro for the next album that it leads into, so I say it's pretty good. I give it an 8 out of 10. And that was Helloween's masterpiece, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. Now, I have a lot I'd like to say about this, but I'll save my thoughts until next week when we review Part 2. The reason is, both of these albums were initially supposed to be one singular album, but record label politics and interference caused it to be split into 2 separate ones. But I'll just say this much for now. This album is a true piece of art, and is one of the most important albums in European power metal history, in European metal history, and in metal history and music history, period. I mean, it was the birth of a genre. There's such an undeniable excitement and confidence about the music presented here, with what was at the time a fresh new take on a familiar sound, with a much heavier focus on power, speed, and melody than had ever been heard before in any kind of metal music. Overall, I give this album a full 10 out of 10. I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you like this kind of content, I kindly ask that you like and subscribe, share this video, and spread word of the channel to anyone who you believe may be interested in this kind of stuff. I'd like to take a moment to thank my editor for all his hard work. I couldn't do these videos without you. I know it's been a while since we had anything done, but hopefully we're getting right back into the game with this one. And going forward, I hope things go back to being on track, but I digress. Join me next week as we review the next installment, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2. Until then, everyone, be safe, take care of yourselves, and each other.